know what we stand for, and we stand for the people. And we stand for the dignity of work. And we stand for freedom. We stand for justice. We stand for equality. And so we will fight for all of it. And the bottom line about UAW is that I also know, and I'll say to all the friends watching, look, even if you're not a member of a union, you better thank unions. That 5-day work week. You better thank unions for that 8-hour work day. You better thank unions for that vacation time. So I'm here to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the sisters and brothers of UAW for all you are and all we will do over these next 89 days. God bless.
John, this just in. The Teamsters are releasing the results of their member polling on which presidential candidate to back. And here it is, 31% say they support Harris compared to 58% who say they support Trump. The union typically backs Democrat candidates, but has delayed its endorsement. In this contest, the union's General Executive Board expects to announce a decision at some point today. So take from that what you will.
Oh, my. Put that back up on the screen. Holy moly.
Yep.
Trump, they prefer 58-31 over Harris in the Teamsters.
Yep.
If that is the actual number and the Teamsters doesn't come out and endorse Trump, something's wrong. Hey, put it up on the screen one more time.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen anything like that before. Look at that.
That is incredible. So that is just in. So we'll get brand new reaction to that coming up, John.
You know, Trump likes to say that he's, a good friend of the Teamsters. He's hired plenty of Teamsters members on his projects.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So the Teamsters have come out and endorsed, well, not endorsed, but the members have chosen Donald Trump. And I think that is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. And I want to play this clip from CNN talking about it as well. Check it out.
We have breaking news. The Teamsters Union will not endorse either candidate in this year's presidential race. Unions, a critical part, of course, of President Biden's winning coalition 4 years ago. But this year, the Teamsters president spoke at the Republican National Convention, putting support in doubt. The union represents 1.6 million workers and retirees. Let's talk about it with CNN's Kayla Tausche. Kayla, this is something that hasn't happened in decades.
It hasn't happened since 1996, Brianna, and you mentioned that unions were a critical component of President Biden's winning coalition back in 2020, and Democrats had hoped that once again, especially after the policies put forth by the Biden-Harris administration, that it would be an easy win for Vice President Harris. Now, she has secured the endorsements for most major union leaders, but this one was always outstanding. And around the time of the Republican National Convention, when Sean O'Brien, the leader of the Teamsters, took the stage to deliver remarks, stakeholders at the time were suggesting that Teamsters officials had been saying behind the scenes that they could remain neutral in this year's race. Remember, union leaders themselves have a political calculus to make within their own organizations. They are elected in many cases, and they have to keep their membership happy. And in many of these cases, they've waited until their own internal polls showed exactly how their rank and file members felt before they came out with their endorsement. And many of those polls were conducted in recent months. The Teamsters poll, which was conducted over the course of 6 months with sort of a fast track in the last month when Harris became the candidate, showed overwhelming support for former President Trump in many cases. But in the statement that the Teamsters put out just a few moments ago, they nodded to specific proposals that they were unable to clinch with either candidate as the reason for remaining neutral. Sean O'Brien, who's the president of the Teamsters, saying, unfortunately, neither major candidate was able to make serious commitments to our union to ensure the interests of working people are always put before big business. He goes on to say, we sought commitments from both Trump and Harris not to interfere in critical union campaigns or core Teamsters industries and to honor our members' right to strike, but were unable to secure those pledges.
What also happened that, CNN is conveniently not covering is they asked to speak at the RNC and the DNC. They got no response from the DNC, but the RNC allowed them to go up there and speak, right? And it's funny that comes, that the party of inclusivity and, love and positivity doesn't allow the union member to the union leader to speak? You're all about the working people, aren't you? Why didn't you allow the union leader to speak? That's quite interesting, isn't it? But the RNC allowed him to get up there and speak. Quite interesting. And this is the first time that they haven't endorsed a Democrat candidate, since the 90s. Yeah, it's been that long. So incredible stuff. And I think this is absolutely devastating for Democrats.
Whatever the critics out there, and they're very few in the leadership, whenever I get an opportunity to highlight the American worker, especially the Teamster worker, I'm going to take any and all venue. We asked both conventions respectively at the same time, and the Republican National Convention immediately responded to us, didn't try and edit any of our messages, and I was hopeful that the Democrats would do the same, but they didn't. I'm not upset about it, but I can tell you this, my rank and file members who have been lifelong Democrats are not happy about it.
Why would they allow him to speak? And did you notice he said that Republicans at the RNC allowed him to speak unedited? Didn't try to edit his voice, didn't try to edit his speech or anything. Hey, go up there and speak. Absolutely. Have at it. Kind of interesting, though, isn't it? Because they always say that Republicans are the party of the hate and bigotry and non-inclusivity, right? We hate everybody and we don't allow anybody to speak. We hate freedom of speech, all this kind of stuff. But the Republican Party was the one that allowed him to go up there and speak unedited, right? Unedited. But we've got more news. So not only the Teamsters, but the Team Fitters union has also.
Are you on my end? The Steam Fitters have voted in the poll. We have a 70% return in favor of President Trump.
Why?
Well, everything that's gone on the last 4 years, an open border, inflation, gas prices, oil, mortgage rates. I mean, I can go on and on. The immigrants just getting into neighborhoods like the neighborhood I grew up in, which I mentioned last night. I have a daughter down there. She's afraid to walk around. And this is a neighborhood I grew up in. These are where people worked hard all their life to buy a house in a nice neighborhood, and now it's destroyed by illegal immigrants. And like I said last night, too, to David Muir and Lindsey Davis, those two hacks from the moderators from the debate, they don't have to go to Springfield, Ohio to look at mutilated animals. They could go to right in Queens in a federal park, and you'll see them all over the beach. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that was 70% in that poll, but it gets worse. So the good news just continues to reign in. So 60% of the Teamsters support Donald Trump. 70% of the Steam Fitters support Donald Trump. And an estimated 70% of UAW members also are doing the same. Check it out.
In the UAW, I'm doing an auto plant rally every week at a different auto plant in the Detroit area, Bill. We're hearing numbers higher than that. 65 or 70% of the UAW members are supporting Donald Trump because the very existence of our industry is at stake. Now, with Teamsters, there's always going to be trucking. There'll just be less of it. But it's an existential threat if Kamala Harris is elected president to the auto industry, because she said she wants no gasoline-powered vehicles by 2035. Well, that will completely annihilate the domestic auto industry, and we'll be dealing strictly with Chinese-made vehicles within 5 or 10 years.
Boom. Yeah. This is big stuff, guys. This is big, big stuff. I mean, this is a major blow to the Kamala Harris campaign that was already in trouble, right? She received zero post-debate bounce, zero post-DNC bounce. And now you're seeing her do a bunch of interviews, or at least attempt to. She went to the NABJ just the other day, and then she went and spoke at something else as well. She also did that random interview in Philly with some random reporter. No offense to him, but you know what I mean? So I think that's also indicating that they know she's in trouble. They know she's in major trouble. But I want to play this clip of Trump because I had a weird moment when I first started watching this clip. It was one of those moments where, and I'm going to relate it to sports. So all my basketball players, and obviously you could probably relate this to a lot of different sports, but I'm just going to relate it to basketball. You ever had one of those moments where, like, as a coach or as a player, you know, like one of your teammates or a player on the court on your team shoots like a really deep three, a three from real far back. And you're like, no, yes, you know, because they made it. I had one of those moments with this clip with Trump because the way that this question is framed, I don't know. I just didn't like the way it was framed. So I was like, Trump, don't answer this in a crazy way. But he absolutely nailed it. Check out this clip from, I believe this is actually from last night.
Mr. President, any reaction to the Teamsters' decision not to endorse?
No, they were. It's a great honor. They're not going to endorse the Democrats. That's a big thing. And this is the first time in, I guess, 50, 60 years that that's happened. Democrats automatically have the Teamsters. They took a vote, and I guess I was at 60% or more. And that's a great honor. I mean, it's really, I've had a lot of Teamsters work for me, a lot of the concrete trucks. They built all these buildings that you see in New York City, the Teamsters. Exclusively Teamsters, I have to say. They've done a great job. But the vote of the Teamsters themselves was very high for me. And the leadership, Sean O'Brien and the group, who are great people, they said we can't endorse the Democrats. So I think this is the first time in many decades that they haven't endorsed Democrats.
Big difference in those big industrial states, you think? They're going to make a difference?
I think it will, yeah, I think so. The Teamsters carry a lot of weight. The Democrats cannot believe that. And, you know, look, this is, it was always automatic that Democrats get the Teamsters, and they said we won't endorse the Democrats this year. So that was
Yeah, the way that question was asked, like, I don't know. Like, I thought he might have been like, yeah, that's pretty crazy that they didn't endorse me directly. But, hey, like I said, I have said this is Trump 2.0, and I should have, you know, stayed with that and remembered that when I was watching this clip. But I'm just honest, you know. I like it, love it, or hate it, I'm honest. When I first saw the clip and I heard the question, I was like, no. Yes. But once again, this is Trump 2.0. And, you know, he's proven that time and time again. And he proved it right here. The old Trump might have been like, man, skip that Sean O'Brien guy. He didn't even want to endorse me, even though all of his members support me, you know, which it's true, you know, like, why didn't she endorse Trump? But it also is kind of like a de facto endorsement when they don't endorse a Democrat, because as Trump said, they've endorsed Democrats since the 90s. And for them to come out and say, no, we're not going to endorse anybody, that's basically a de facto endorsement for Trump. So, hey, listen, full steam ahead, guys. Keep your pedal to the metal. But I think we are most definitely heading in the right direction. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.